While the state government of Osun, under the leadership of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, constituted the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into disputed chieftaincy declarations and other allied matters in 2016, it gave a marching order to the panel to fashion out ways of building formidable traditional institutions that will be a model in Nigeria and by extension in Africa. Little wonder then why putting an end to all forms of disputes, misunderstanding and ripples ensuing from chieftaincy affairs formed part of the terms of reference of the panel. The commission, headed by Justice Abdul Karim Abdul Razak, was equally mandated to come up with steps of strengthening chieftaincy affairs as well as to provide a workable modality capable of ensuring an everlasting remedy to possible chieftaincy and traditional crises across the nooks and crannies of the state. The several-man panel has been attending to several memorandums submitted to it by parties who are in disputes over chieftaincy issues through its public sitting, hence providing an avenue for people to ventilate their grievances in an amicable manner. The fact-finding panel took a step forward by inviting historians to come and make presentations on historical matters that have to do with the customs and traditions of Yoruba land. Explaining the motive behind the invitation of the scholars to its public sittings, Justice Abdul Razak stated that the Commission deems it imperative to seek historical perspective to matters relating to chieftaincy declarations as well as the customs and traditions of Yoruba land. This, he noted, will not only help in educating parties that are having one form of dispute or the other as a result of distortions of history, but will equally assist the Commission in its recommendations to the government. In his presentation, a professor of history from the University of Ibadan, Olutayo Adesina, shed light on issues that have to do with the origin of the Yoruba, access to beaded crowns in Yoruba land, and the controversy over whether the chairmanship of the Council of Obas should be rotational or permanent. Professor Adesina identified undocumented history as one of the causes of the contention in chieftaincy matters in the state. According to the Dawn, universities in the country are grossly underfunded, and that is the reason historians have not been able to carry out researches that have to do with the customs and traditions of the people. He maintained that it is only a well-documented history of Yoruba land that can put an end to disputes emanating from chieftaincy matters.
There is a basic lack of historical knowledge, and this has caused so much confusion in our society that the only way to solve this problem is, one, to engage in thorough research, two, make the result of that research available to people, and three, that to ensure that our people, including the traditional rulers, abide by the traditional ethos that has brought our society up to this level.
Speaking in the same vein, another historian and associate professor from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Dr. Abimbola Adesoji, who spoke on the dangers inherent in the distortion of history, called on government to go beyond restating it as a subject in schools, as it recently did, to ensuring that history is made compulsory to students in both primary and secondary schools. Dr. Adesoji maintained that any nation that fails to understand its history and inculcates same to its people from generation to generation will only be moving in circles without achieving any meaningful achievement. According to him, it is only when people reflect on their past that they will be able to project the future and ensure that they do not repeat the mistakes of the past.
And when we look at what is in contest among traditional rulers, whether in Osun State, whether in Oyo State or in Yoruba land generally, even that's gone beyond Yoruba land, you discover that it's the issue of access to beaded crown, which will validate their authority to reign. And that's why many of them laying claims to having migrated from Ife.
The special public sitting provided avenue for people to ask the historians questions that have bothered their minds for so long, most especially on issues bordering on chieftaincy matters in Yoruba land. Oluchi Amuja for Dateline.